Welcome everybody. Appreciate you joining us today. My name is Steve Nason. I am Research Director at Parks Associates. I cover our entertainment research practice, and I'm honored today to be joined by Jesus Luzardo from Amdocs Media. Jesus, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. So first, I think it's going to be great for our audience just to learn a bit more about you and your role at Amdocs Media.
So I lead the growth for our Amdocs Media division. That is associated with all our marketing growth activities across the division and strategic partnerships.
Okay, great. So we would provide great perspectives today. I wanted to start really, data's become so important and such an important commodity for all those on the client side, right? Services, operators, digital media comes, everyone in the video, digital media space. So let's talk about, from your perspective, what the role of data is in the industry. That would be a great place to start.
Yeah, so before we talk about data, there are several consumer trends that are really impacting the way the industry is shaping, and that impacts the way data is needed and is going to be used moving forward. So if you look at over the last few years, over $20 billion has shifted from traditional pay TV to OTTs. And primarily the reason is, as you know, that the OTTs are providing a more relevant offering for those consumers. And that direct to consumer model is going to continue to trend, but that is going to create an additional challenge for the consumer, and it's already creating that. So if we look at the US, I think the last survey we saw was 3.8 streaming video on demand services per household in the US. That went up from about 2.8 a year ago. So the number of SVOD services is increasing. The consumer is experiencing the SVOD stacking phenomenon, and that is impacting the way they consume those services and the convenience. So the need for the data to really understand the consumer preference, the consumer needs, and how we help them to navigate through those experiences in a seamless way is going to be critical moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if we just to complement that a little bit, the other part of that is, when we look at the consumer, we cannot look at the consumer in one dimension, which is, in this case, we're talking about video, correct? But they also have other preferences, other subscription services, gaming, music, other entertainment. And during the pandemic, we saw that everybody is jumping into a subscription service. So the subscription services in the different verticals, they grew about 30% in the past 11 months. So as we look at data and the consumer, we really need to have a view on what are the other complementary services within that digital fragmented life that consumer has. They prefer and they are consuming. So the service provider can really aggregate a lot of those experiences and create a stickiness factor with that consumer, because they're going to be much more relevant in their day life.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. All across entertainment in different categories, you're seeing huge spikes in consumption and how to use data better to inform that experience. Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of spin it forward, kind of looking into your crystal ball. How do you kind of see the role of data, and then maybe just trends that you expect to see kind of in our industry?
Well, I don't know if definitely data is going to play a key factor on the way that everybody serves, correct? So everybody talks about AI and machine learning and how you interpret that into insights, so you can improve customer acquisition with more relevant offerings, or do you increase retention, whether it's active or passive churn on those subscribers based on the knowledge you have and the insights you have on that consumer journey with your service. But I will leave it on a vision that if if I need to see a video service down the road, it's going to be a video that is based on virtual reality, that I can insert my own characters in the movies or the series that I'm watching, and creating that experience with my friends, that they
Right.
are co-located with me or remotely, and I'm paying for that as a subscription, and probably I'm sharing that subscription with friends. And for that, all that experience that I just described needs to be extremely personalized to my needs, to my preferences, and it's going to be totally different than yours, Steve. So
Right.
the I think the potential and the need for the data harness and the way we use data to create those experiences is going to continue to be exponentially important.
Right, absolutely. And yeah, just to wrap up, as you kind of mentioned, the whole co-viewing experience, social distancing, COVID, it all kind of goes together. A lot of the big video and media companies, Group Watch and all these different co-viewing tools that they're adding, and that's just going to kind of continue, even if, knock on wood, hopefully we return to some type of normal in the near future. So
We hope so.
yeah, let's hope so. Well, Jesus, that's all the time we have, but really appreciate your perspectives today. Thanks again.
Thanks, Steve, and thanks again for having me.